transfer the messages back in biblical days. They didn't send a WhatsApp, they couldn't send an email. They had to identify the calendar by observing the moon in the temple, but then they had to pass the message all the way to the north, to Galilee. How did they do it? Did you see the movie Lord of the Rings? How they passed the message between bonfires and the peaks? This was one of them, this peak, from the days of Jesus, the days of the temple. And if you ever met any Jewish people, Jewish friends, and that celebrate the Passover, in the States they do 2 nights, right? Here we only do 1 night. Why did they do 2 nights? Because in the diaspora, outside of Israel, you do 2 nights because you're not sure when is the right night because of the system, which is not very accurate. That is the reason. And we're now driving into the land of Ephraim. You'll soon see an actual town by the name of Ma'ale Ephraim. The Ephraim ascend, and this is the real biblical part of Israel. As we're driving, take a look at the goats on the right. Take a look, guys. See the goats? Someone asked me about the goat. This is like a biblical scene from the days of King David, right there. So I was asked about the animal life here and about the geography of the land of Israel in biblical times. The geography has not changed a bit, which means the desert was the desert, is the desert in the rain shadow, the mountains, the valleys. This was the exact same terrain. Obviously we paved through the roads and the mountains. This is all modern, but the geography has not changed a bit. In terms of wildlife, we used to have here leopards in Israel, in En-Gedi. We have here wild mountain goats, ibex, rock hyrax, deer, gazelle. They used to have bears here in Israel as well as lions in biblical days. It says in the book of Deuteronomy, I'm not going to send all of the nations right away because then you're going to fight with the beasts here in Israel. And where do we have in the Bible? Give me 3 examples where is described of beasts, of wild beasts here in the land, of bears and lions. David, of course, when he talks about the bear and the lion that he striked. Where else? Story with a lion. Samson, correct. Where he ripped him apart with his bare hands. Then he found a beehive inside the lion's body. And where is the story about bears? Who remember that's a more difficult one?
Elijah calling them she-bears out the woods.
Elijah, exactly. Remember the kids came and were making fun of Elijah. Hey, bald man, come bald man. And he cursed them, and 2 bears came out of the forest and killed 42 kids. So Elijah. So there were bears, there were lions, but these unfortunately were extinct from this region and they're not naturally here anymore. You can imagine the biblical sequence of the events of coming from Mount Nebo. Moses dies up on Mount Nebo, the other side of the ridge. And from Mount Nebo, they mourn him for 30 days in a place called Shittim. Then they send the spies, which visit Rahab, and she saves them. By the way, Rahab is described as a prostitute, but our commentators tell us that she was providing food. The same root of the Hebrew word from leazin, from zonah to mezina. So some commentators said that she was not a prostitute, but she was actually. So that's Rahab. In Jericho, she saved the 2 spies. After 30 days, they cross the river Jordan. You'll be there on Saturday. They enter the promised land. They take over Jericho, they take over Ha'ai, and they settle in a place we're heading to, the site of Shiloh, or as you Americans say, Shiloh. So if you want to pronounce it right, it's Shiloh. I want to share with you one thing, as I'm not going to be with you on Saturday. This is the town. See the name of it? Ephraim Ascend Ma'ale. Ephraim. We are climbing up from the Jordan Valley and leaving Mount Nebo behind us. Take a look on the left. You can see the opening over there of the area of Jericho, and on the horizon, Mount Nebo. And I want to share with you a story that happened to me about 6 years ago when I was touring with, back then he was the mayor of Newark. Now he's a senator of New Jersey, Cory Booker. He became a good friend, even though I don't think we share the exact same political views, but he's a good friend. And I took him from the King David. We spent like a week together. We toured all over Israel. And so I'm taking him from the King David. It's 9:30 p.m. Saturday night.